Hi everyone, I'm Michelle and welcome back to my meadow. Today I thought I would take you around and show you some of the things that I made mistakes on this gardening season and ways that I hope to improve for next time. Let's go take a walk around. Thai eggplant needs more room than I realized. So I have raised this to the maximum of keeping it covered, and in fact on the other side the branches pushed through the netting are actually growing up and above the height of everything else. So next time, better spacing on the Thai eggplants. And for the cucumbers, I need to learn to prune early and prune often because we got a lot of the fungus moisture type disease on here. I'm pretty sure that's what all these brown leaves are, though I'm not an expert on it if you know, but I've heard of something called mosaic, and when you flip it over or when you look at it early, it looks like there's a mosaic on the leaves, so I'm assuming that's what it is. I also want to plant the cucumbers in a way, while I've loved this trellis, I want to plant them in a way that I can cover them with some kind of a row cover so the moth that comes around at night can't lay her eggs on the cucumbers and then give us pickle worms inside of them. So I probably will not do cucumbers on this trellis next year. My next lesson is to plant more corn. And so I planted 2 rows to start with, and now I've planted in succession. So I'm happy with the succession, but it's not nearly enough corn by the time it's done to make more than a couple of meals. So for the energy invested here, I wish that I had planted more corn so that I could have more to eat, share, and put up. But the second batch is doing much better. I did amend the soil the first time I forgot, and I think that the stems look better. So I also want to remember to make sure that I'm amending with good, nutritious things in the soil. And you can really see the difference. Like, I know we've had more rain now, but the thickness on these stems versus the thickness on these stems, it's markedly different. So make sure that I remember to amend when I am planting. On my figs, I have not put on the anti-bird tape soon enough. That's actually a project for me this week, I hope. But I do believe that I'm having birds and raccoons enjoying as many figs as I am. I don't mind sharing, but I at least want to have some off of here, for crying out loud. It's a beautiful, huge plant. But I do see that I have a lot of damage, or damage is the wrong word, but a lot of nibbles down here at the bottom. See if I can find some this morning. Here. Nibbles like this. And they're all just under that 1 to 2 foot radar level. So I'm betting that is raccoons. So more kind of scare tape or something around the figs for sure. The next lesson I've learned is to plant more okra. I put about 10 or 12 into the ground. I didn't plant them at the right time. I didn't pre-soak them, but I only got 6 plants. Well, that sounds like it's pretty good, but after 2 months, I'm still only getting onesie-twosies in the okra, never enough to make a batch to eat. I do enjoy them in my salads, but gosh, I sure would love to have a big old batch of okra and tomatoes. It would have been really nice to have fresh okra and fresh tomatoes on at the same time. The wing beans have been amazing. I still see I have some more on here. I've just pruned them back, and I'm hoping that will encourage them to make some more side shoots. But I wish I had planted more of them. These are actually a volunteer from last year. I didn't dig them up, they came back. But I wish I had more, because in this amount of space, I get a few every day, but same thing, never enough to really have what in the South we would call the mess. And so I wish I'd planted more of these. Now this one isn't really a mistake, but something I want to do differently next time. I love the zinnia up here, and I love how they look in front of the house. I love it so much, I want more. And so next season, I am definitely going to find a way to incorporate them in other places around the garden so we can have this loveliness all over. The next lesson that I learned is to mulch sooner. I let this bed on this side stay with a sandy top after being beaten by the sun all winter long and didn't mulch it in. And so in doing so, I really compromised the quality of the soil that was over here. And since mulching it, things are definitely improving. I've planted legumes over here, and while they're doing a great job spreading out, we're still not bringing the nutrition up in this soil yet. This is going to be a long process. This isn't going to be a quick process. But it started with getting some mulch on this soil and getting the heat off of the soil so things could actually have a chance to grow and thrive in here. This next one's going to be harder for me because I love how these bananas look. But I must cut out some of the babies down here. I've let the trunks put off the corm and have more and more sprouted baby banana trees. Excuse me, not banana trees, banana plants. And in doing so, it takes away from the nutrition of the plant in order to create new bananas. And so even with all of these banana plants here, I have just one rack of bananas that are coming on. And so I want more bananas. I don't have to have thousands, but I'd like more bananas for the amount of space I've allotted here. And I believe that is going to require me to thin the bananas. If you have some tips on thinning the bananas, I know I should probably do it while they're small. I would appreciate that, because I think that's got to be something that I have to do in here. While I'm here, here's another lesson I learned. Keep good notes. Put in markers that don't fade. Pick something, because right here I kept seeing an empty spot and I kept planting something else here. Now it's probably not a terrible thing because they'll all work well together, but I have taro and sweet potato and ginger, all root crops, planted right here on top of each other. And so they don't have quite as much space as they would have if I had spread them out a little bit more. So remember what you planted when things take a long time to come up. Here is the yam bed that I started, and if you saw that video, you know that I put banana leaves over the top of this to sort of help it for the first day with shades, but I did not put any space in there for the banana leaves. And so I will never again lay banana leaves directly on transplants. I liked it to make the shade, but I have to do something different next time, whether it's putting some pots or putting a little frame, because where I thought they would just pop back up, most of them have not. They may still, like this one seems to still be trying, but I have some more that I will plant in here. If in the next week or two I don't see more activity from those vines, then I'm going to plant some new ones in there. My next lesson is to support the plants that are heavy laden. So I've been bragging about this Cataly guava and how lovely it's been and how lovely it's been doing. And then it bent over and I couldn't get it uprighted and supported. I had to think about how I was going to do that with my arm and having help to do it. And so it took a little figuring out. We ended up adding what I call a long S-hook right there, and then attaching with a piece of polystring to another S-hook and connecting to a different trellis. And that has given it the support it needs, but not before a big part of the plant was damaged, and I suspect really it is because it was bent over and the sun was hitting the underside of the leaves, and it just did not do as well. And so these need to be pruned back for sure. So pruning would be one lesson, and two, when it does get heavy laden with fruit, do find a way to support it early. So those are all the mistakes. Well, not all the mistakes. Those are some of the mistakes I made this gardening season. I always welcome your feedback and tips. You all are helping me be a better gardener, so feel free to put those in the comments below. And until next time, my friends, remember to wear your sunscreen and drink plenty of water. Have a fantastic day.